Ladies and gentlemen, I only wish I could be present with you. To mark this blessed season.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. Perhaps we'll just blame it on the elf. Welcome to Epiphany Blessings for Abbeydore Deanery. If you're anything like me, you're desperately missing singing carols in church in this Christmas season. So I thought we'd begin with the first Noel.
The wise men are led by the star to Jesus. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea. For thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor, that shall rule the people of Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star, which they saw in the east, went before them, until it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they came into the house, they saw a young child with Mary his mother, and fell down, and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. Thanks be to God.
I often look forward to this time of Christmas and Epiphany. It's often a quieter time, both at work and at home, after all the busyness and the preparations for celebrating Christmas. Often for me it's the time of year when I look forward to planning adventures, some of them just in my head, some of them for real. This year has been more of an occasion to look back on adventures past, and I've been recalling how most of them involved some kind of map. That might be the traditional paper ones. These are my maps from when I walked part of the Camino. That was really helpful, along with my pilgrim's passport, bright yellow, not blue. I've also had time this year to dip into Hilaire Belloc's memories of walking the old road, the ancient pilgrimage route between Winchester and Canterbury. I lived not far from it for a couple of years. As I've been thinking about maps, I've been recalling how those wise ones had no map at all, that they simply stepped out in hope, illumined by a star, a dream. The word map, for some of us, has slightly difficult connotations at the moment. It might stand for mission action plan, something Lucy, Jane, Anne and I have been labouring over, mostly by Zoom, a nightmare. But here are some thoughts about the map. Not the mission action plan, the map. Where the map begins. This is not any map you know. Forget longitude, forget latitude. Do not think of distances or of plotting the most direct route. Astrolabe, sextant, compass, these will not help you here. This is the map that begins with a star. This is the chart that starts with fire, with blazing, with an ancient light that has outlasted generations, empires, cultures, wars. Look starward once, then look away. Close your eyes and see how the map begins to blossom behind your lids, how it constellates, its lines stretching out from where you stand. You cannot see it all, cannot divine the way. It will turn and spiral, cannot perceive how the road you walk will finally lead you inside, through the labyrinth of your own heart and belly and lungs. But step out, and you will know what the wise who travelled this path before you knew. The treasure in this map is buried not at journey's end, but at its beginning. I love the idea of the path unfolding as we walk it. Sarah sometimes calls that following her nose. Sometimes that works, not always. Often we don't have a map for the journey ahead. As we look ahead to 2021, there's a sense that things will be better, that as the rollout of the vaccines in this country, across the world, and not before time to those least able to afford it or reach it, things will change slowly and gradually. Perhaps at the moment there's still great fear. There will be great loss in the weeks and months to come. Anxiety, trepidation, wonder, regret. We're caught in that in-between time of looking back with nostalgia to how we imagined things were and looking forward. It perhaps seems strange to say looking forward. It's almost a year since most of us have been able to have any sense of being able to relax. We've been on our guard, we've been anxious and cautious. So perhaps it's only right that the path will unfold before us. We feel as if we still have a long way to go. An Epiphany blessing for those who have far to travel. If you could see the journey whole, you might never undertake it. might never dare the first step that propels you from the place you have known toward the place you know not. Call it one of the mercies of the road, that we see it only by stages as it opens before us, as it comes into our keeping step by single step. There is nothing for it but to go, and by our going, take the vows the pilgrim takes, to be faithful to the next step, to rely on more than the map, to heed the signposts of intuition and dream, to follow the star that only you will recognize, to keep an open eye for the wonders that attend the path, to press on beyond distractions, beyond fatigue, beyond what would tempt you from the way. There are vows that only you will know, the secret promises for your particular path, and the new ones you will need to make when the road is revealed by turns you could not have foreseen. Keep them, break them, make them again. Each promise becomes part of the path. Each choice creates the road that will take you to the place where at last you will kneel, to offer the gift most needed, the gift that only you can give, before turning to go home by another way. Some of the words we're using today have been written by Jan Richardson, who has a great collection of her work called Circle of Grace. Here's her piece called The Shimmering Hours for Women's Christmas. There is so much I want to say, as if the saying could prepare you for this path, as if there were anything I could offer that would make your way less circuitous, more smooth. Once you step out, you will see for yourself how nothing could have made you ready for this road that will take you from what you know to what you cannot perceive, except perhaps in your dreaming, or as it gives a glimpse, its prayer. But I can tell you this journey is not about miles. It is not about how far you can walk or how fast. It is about what you will do with this moment, this star that blazes in your sky, though no one else might see it. So open your heart to these shimmering hours by which your path is made. Open your eyes to the light that shines on what you will need to see. Open your hands to those who go with you, those seen and those known only by their blessing, their benediction of the road that is your own. The journey of the year isn't about miles. Some of my journeys in January are going to be about miles, along with a friend. I'm walking to raise money for Asthma UK. Thankfully it's not too far, it's even measured in kilometres, so it feels as if you're getting further all the time. I've been thinking about Epiphany Blessings, not only in preparation for this service, but for our service at Abbeydore Abbey on Sunday the 3rd. And there I'm going to offer people a piece of chalk. Thanks to the wonders of Tinterweb, there's a big box of big coloured chalks for them. In the past, it's been a real delight to hand out packets of chalk to churches full of children through the Christmas season, encouraging them to go home and become graffiti artists in the new year, much to the dismay often of their parents. There was one year, the outside of a rather medieval and rather beautiful church was graffitied by the children with the Epiphany Blessing. Thankfully the beast from the east came along and washed it all away before the church wardens could get too many of their knickers in too much of a twist. The point of chalk is to mark the house or the church with the Epiphany Blessing, the numerals for the year 2021, and the letters C and M and B, standing both for Christus Mansionem Benedicat, may Christ bless this dwelling, and also for those three wise ones traditionally known as Caspar, Melchior and Balthazar. Perhaps you have some chalk at home. Perhaps you could be imaginative and creative and use something else. Perhaps you would like to mark your home or your church. Have a word with the church warden first. With 2021 C, M and B, a reminder to yourself and others who see it that you may not have a map, though the path may only be beginning to unfold. God blesses you in each moment.
Beth oedd gan y brenin i'w ddweud, I ffwrdd â nhw.
Oh, hello! Croeso i'r siop y banod.
Sgynnoch chi anreg I fabi? Baban arbennig iawn.
Babi arbennig? Mir. Un munud.
Mir, da iawn.
Sgynnoch chi rhywbeth sgleiniog? Rhywbeth arbennig?
Logo'n neis iawn yma. Sgynnoch chi thys?
Da chi'n gwneud price match efo eBay?
moment, we'll end by hearing John Rutter's blessing for a new year, and then an organ piece to take us into next week. First, a blessing. May your eyes be opened to the wonder of the daily miracles around you. and your sense of mystery be deepened. May you be aware of the light that shines in the darkness and that the darkness can never put out. May you be blessed with companions for your journey, friends who will listen to you and encourage you with their presence. May you learn to live with what is unresolved in your heart, daring to face the questions, to lean into them and hold them until one day they find their answers. May you find the still, quiet place within yourself, where you can know and experience that peace which passes understanding. May love flow in you and through you to those who need your care. May you continue to dream dreams and to reach out to the future with a deeper understanding of God's way for you. And may God bless you, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, this and every day. Amen.
Mae'r seren yn mynd o'i blaen. Nes iddi aros uwch ben yr union fan lle roedd y plentyn. O, roedden nhw wrth eu bodd. Pan eithon ni mewn i'r tŷ, dyna lle roedd y plentyn gyda'i fam Mair. A dyma nhw'n disgyn ar ei gliniau o'i flaen a'i addoli. Yna, dyma nhw'n agor eu paciau a rhoid anrhegion gwerthfawr iddo. Aur, a thys, a myr. Rhybuddiodd Duw nhw mewn breuddwyd i beidio mynd yn ôl at Herod. Felly dyma gwir doeth yn teithio yn ôl i'w gwlad ei hunain ar hyd ffordd wahanol.
Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, et spes nostra salve. Ad te clamamus, exules filii ebei. Ad te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in ac lacrimarum vale. Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, et spes nostra salve. Ad te clamamus, exules filii ebei. Ad te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in ac lacrimarum vale. Eia ego, advocata nostra, illos tuos misericordes oculos, ad nos converte. Et Iesum, benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, o pia, dulcis, Virgo Maria.